Lively is freaking out after one of her victims finally breaks the silence on her pathetic behavior.
Well, in the 60 Minutes piece, it really concludes with the fact that this was a smear campaign.
Yes, Blake's not the victim. It's the people who had to work with her.
She can't prepare for what she doesn't know they have, and again, they have a lot.
And now, the same journalist she tried to humiliate, he's back, and he's not playing nice. The internet has Wi-Fi and memory, and on April 14th, 2025, that memory came back in the form of Peter Kiefer, the Hollywood reporter-journalist who quite literally lives rent-free in Blake's head. The same Peter she tried to cancel in 2024 for daring to say Justin Baldoni's faith influenced his direction on It Ends With Us.
With the Hollywood reporter, his name is Peter Kiefer, and he wrote that article that actually Blake Lively hated and came after and said it was really a sexist piece that he had written about her when he talked about how Justin Baldoni's faith played a big part in on set.
Imagine that. A director's personal values informing his work? Groundbreaking. But apparently, it was so offensive to Blake that she slapped the sexist label on it like it was a red carpet gown. Now fast forward to this year's 60 Minutes Australia episode, where Peter makes a casual, blink-and-you-miss-it appearance. And we have what can only be described as a meltdown of Kardashian tier proportions. Blake allegedly blew up behind the scenes, not because Peter said anything new, he didn't, but because he existed. Literally, just the fact that this man reappeared on a screen for 5 minutes had her PR team diving into DEFCON 1 mode. Like, were they not briefed on what a documentary is? Man just showed up, restated the same facts he already published, and dipped. Meanwhile, Blake's PR crew was reportedly scrambling like it was the Met Gala, and she had nothing to wear. Social media went absolutely nuts. Reddit threads popped up faster than Ryan Reynolds' aviation gin ads. And X, formerly Twitter, yes, we're still calling it X, now apparently. Because let's be honest, if Blake's story was airtight, why is a 5-minute interview by a calm, composed journalist causing this much chaos? It's almost like she's afraid of the truth. But hey, what do I know? I'm just someone who still can't figure out how Blake Lively managed to turn a movie about domestic abuse into her own personal PR redemption tour.
In the 60 Minutes piece, it really concludes with the fact that this was a smear campaign. Like this guy is saying that it's impossible that it wasn't, and they didn't interview anyone who said anything otherwise.
Now, while Blake was busy spiraling, someone else decided to finally speak up, and not in a carefully worded Notes app apology. Enter Talia Spencer. Yes, a literal design team member, not even cast or senior crew, just someone who actually worked on the visual side of the film. And yet her words had more weight than anything Blake has mumbled through her publicist. Talia came into that 60 Minutes segment like a walking reality check. Her exact words? I felt more comfortable being around Justin than a lot of film directors in my experience. That's it. That line alone knocked Blake's whole victim narrative off its pedestal. Like, you could feel the PR team collectively scream into their oat milk lattes.
In my opinion, I find it very hard to believe the allegations against him.
And just to make sure Blake heard it from every possible corner of the internet, that quote pulled over 3 million views on TikTok within 36 hours. You can't even pay for that kind of traction, though I wouldn't put it past Team Blake to try. But Talia didn't stop there. She straight up said Blake mistook Justin's kindness for weakness and tried to take control of the entire film.
And the host asked her, did you ever feel uncomfortable around Justin Baldoni? And she said no.
I would say I felt more comfortable being around Justin than a lot of film directors in my experience.
Sorry, what? That's the kind of line that belongs in a Marvel villain monologue, not a behind-the-scenes featurette. Talia also revealed Justin personally reached out to her to bring her on board, pitching a vision centered around empowering young women. Sounds like a guy with a mission, right? Not the monster Blake's been painting in her carefully crafted media campaigns. Talia openly accused Blake of wresting control of the film and completely derailing the original purpose. A design team member said this on international television. You know how bold that is? She basically called out a Hollywood darling with a billion-dollar couple brand, while knowing full well that WME and Blake's inner circle are probably screenshotting everything she does. No NDA in the world could silence this level of truth. And while Talia was roasting Blake without even raising her voice, Peter Kiefer was silently getting the last laugh. Let's not forget, this is the same reporter Blake tried to blacklist. When his article originally dropped in 2024, she called it sexist and inflammatory, launched a passive-aggressive Instagram campaign, and allegedly asked publicists to stop working with him. How did that go, you ask? Well, the article became one of Hollywood Reporter's most read stories that year. So yeah, nice try, Blake, but Peter's career didn't tank. Yours might, though. Flash forward to 2025, and Peter is now the symbol of everything Blake can't control. He doesn't yell. He doesn't rant. He just shows up on 60 Minutes, states his facts again, like a professor reviewing a syllabus, and that alone sends Blake's image into cardiac arrest. People didn't even need the full segment. Just Peter's 5-minute FaceTime sparked hashtags like Blake, exposed, and hashtag justice for Justin. That's what happens when you poke the internet bare. The same one you thought would back you when you weaponized your celebrity tears. And the funniest part? Peter didn't retract a single word. He stood firm, unshaken, like, imagine being called out by one of the most influential celebrities in Hollywood and still refusing to budge because you actually have receipts. That's a level of calm that could cure my anxiety. Meanwhile, Blake's over here doing digital damage control like her publicist's laptop is on fire. You'd think she was fighting for her life in a courtroom, not a documentary. It's honestly giving high school drama. Like, you didn't invite me to your birthday party, so I'm going to spread rumors about your boyfriend type of energy. Except this time, the boyfriend is a director. The party is a movie set, and the rumors are part of a full-blown media campaign. So let's do a quick recap. Peter Kiefer shows up on TV, and Blake loses her grip on the steering wheel of the narrative.
There's a lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
Talia Spencer, a literal non-celebrity, flips the script by saying the thing everyone was already thinking, that Blake isn't some misunderstood genius, she's just a control freak with a megaphone. And instead of using it to uplift women like the film intended, she used it to bury a man who was trying to make something meaningful. 60 Minutes Australia really thought they were about to clear Blake Lively's name and silence the internet. Like, bless their hearts for trying, but what they ended up producing on April 14, 2025 was not a journalistic masterpiece. It was a PR infomercial with lighting. Fans weren't buying it for a second. In fact, they dubbed the whole segment a one-sided propaganda piece, which is putting it mildly. So, let's talk about what actually aired. Blake's team got their golden opportunity to finally set the record straight. They dropped their collection of heavily curated texts, conveniently timed voice notes, and of course, zero response from Justin Baldoni. Not a single counterpoint, no emails, no voice memos, not even a blurry screenshot of his side. You know, the kind of stuff you'd expect in actual journalism. But no, they basically aired Blake's Notes app and called it a documentary. Even the PR expert they interviewed, and this part is rich, seemed like he was shading Blake. He made some incredibly passive-aggressive remarks about how, if you mess up, the best thing to do is own up to it. And somehow, the producers tried to spin that like he was scolding Justin. Are you kidding me? The guy literally sounded like he was talking about her, but with the magic of editing, they Frankensteined the quote into something else. It's giving 2007 paparazzi tabloid energy, and not in a good way. Let's not forget, Talia Spencer was the only voice in that entire episode who even slightly questioned Blake's version of events. And yet somehow, even with all the production bias in her favor, Blake still managed to walk away from that episode with more people questioning her story. How do you mess that up? You get an entire TV segment handed to you, and because at this point, the Blake Lively show is officially off script. Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next episode of this beautiful meltdown.